Professor Lourdes Cruz, who is the president of the National Research Council in the Philippines. Are you using slides?
No,
Okay.
Good afternoon. I'll tell you about the system of science advice to government in the Philippines, and then what two young scientists from the University of the Philippines did to help remedy the situation. So the Philippines has a Department of Science and Technology, and under this Department of Science Technology, we have two policy advisory agencies, the National Academy of Science Technology and the National Research Council of the Philippines. Usually, these two agencies hold roundtable discussions on some pressing issues and concerns and give the recommendations to the Minister of Science and other relevant ministries. Sometimes if you really want to push something forward and make it institutionalize a certain sort of solution, what some do is to approach congressmen and convince them that it's important to have a bill and then try to have this approved as a Republic Act. Like in the situation of rabies, when this was now passed, requiring the vaccination of animals, all dogs for rabies. And then there are sectoral councils on health, agriculture, engineering, and emerging technologies, and then that provide the grant, and basic research grants are given by NRCP. And in addition, the DOST has R&D institutes like the Philippine Nuclear Research Institute, PHIVOLCS, the volcanology, the one on meteorology. And all these agencies give their information to the Department of Science and Technology, and and if you want this to be disseminated to the people, this is passed on to the Science and Technology Information Institute, and which passes it on to the media. As you know, the Philippines is in a volcanic belt, earthquake belt like Japan. And also it's in the typhoon. It receives it gets around 20 typhoons a year. Typhoons that develop in the Pacific and some in the western side of the Philippines. And so for typhoons, like in Typhoon Haiyan, the damages are due to winds, flood, and landslides. So actually, when President Aquino assumed his position in 2010, after that, there were it was towards the typhoon season, there were several typhoons. And the Weather Bureau, was not well equipped, in weather prediction. And the president was not so disappointed with what was happening, and then the secretary had to fire the director of the Weather Bureau. And there were about 3 typhoons that hit the Philippines that devastated Mindanao and Central Luzon. And so what researchers at the University of the Philippines did was to propose a program and this involved several institutes and departments in the University of the Philippines, on nationwide operational assessment of hazards. The acronym actually is NOAA, Project NOAA. And this was supported by DOST. It was the first time that DOST gave such a huge amount for a project. And so what the project program, the project is about is that to build up the capability of the Philippines in terms of new sensors, in terms of sensors for water like automated rain gauges, stream gauges, and weather stations. And the government acquired 3 LiDAR sensors, and and mounted these under the planes to determine the topography at a much higher resolution that one can obtain from the satellite data. And then the government bought more Doppler radars. And the data obtained for this was used by the researchers from the University of the Philippines to map and model what will happen if we have this amount of rain, and if you have a 50-year rain or a 50-year record for rain or a 100-year record for rain, how much will the water go up? So they produced flood hazard maps, 3D maps, and other 3D maps, and then landslide hazard at the locality level, down to the locality levels, and then they also set up a website that can be accessed by people. And the nice thing is that the information that has been gathered by Project NOAA will be announced in the radio and was sent to local governments. And but the problem is that people sometimes don't listen to what they hear in the radio. I mean, don't believe everything that's what they hear in the radio. It was the project was quite successful in preventing. Say, Marikina Valley was flooded in 2011, and when there was another typhoon that hit the area, this is in Metro Manila, the people were already aware of the kind of damage that they can have, so that the second time around they listened to what the Project NOAA said. But when the Typhoon Haiyan, the super typhoon, that was approaching the Philippines, they were already sending out messages about how strong it will be, that there will be 5 to 7 meters storm surges and very strong winds. And this was given, updates were given regularly. But even with that, many people actually, because they had not experienced such a strong typhoon and perhaps could not imagine how it would be. And then plus, there's a calm before the storm. It sometimes becomes very quiet. And I said, oh, maybe it's not coming at all, because previously sometimes the storm does not come at all. Sometimes it comes, sometimes it doesn't come. And so they were just kept doing their thing, and they were caught very fast. And that typhoon was traveling very fast, more than, instead of the regular about 19 kilometers per hour typhoon traveling, it was traveling at almost 30 kilometers per hour. So, and with respect to the storm surges, people said, oh, we didn't know what storm surges are. And they said perhaps they used another term, not storm surge, then they would have responded more. And some even suggested, oh, maybe they because the waves were, the water was so high, perhaps they should have used the word tsunami. Some of the media men were suggesting that perhaps the scientists should have used the word tsunami, but the scientists said, no, it's not tsunami, it's a storm surge. So we really realize that we now really need, because we have now this system of having these very high resolution flood maps and landslide maps. And there should be awareness campaign and education. And it's the local governments who are really there and who should do the remedies, the preparations for the incoming typhoons. And there should be capacity building also. And now the information's transmitted through Twitter, Facebook, and you can download with the iPod, and the one of the good things that came out of this is that last July, mid-July, Typhoon Glenda went through Luzon, and so this project disseminated the information about the typhoon. It was a very bad typhoon. And the first landfall was in the Bicol province. And there the governor really did everything after learning about the coming typhoon. He disseminated the information through towns and barangay officials, and who then mobilized the people. They already had a plan of how to disseminate the information within that province. And they didn't, there was no casualty. So even though the typhoon was very strong. But in other provinces where the governor didn't do as much, there were some casualties. And now the biological scientists are also talking about, have a project on the role of mangroves and beach forests in protecting the coast and communities. And this information is fed on to the Department of Natural Resources and Environment and Natural Resources. And then the social scientists are also needed because many of the people damaged, many of the people that were casualties were from the poor sectors. Yeah, so we need really the involvement of different sectors, different disciplines in trying to avert casualties and damages from typhoons.